So I've been out today all day working on the engine. Got it all painted up. Looks, I won't say pristine, but it looks good. The carb still needs to be cleaned up a little bit. New bolts, everything looking good. I didn't film it because we have the good weather here, and I just wanted to work away and get as much done as I could get done while the weather's here. So I just didn't have time to be sitting filming at it all, and it really was only me sanding stuff up and just spraying paint on it. So yeah, there was no point really showing it. But there it is, guys. That's the progress for this week. I'll be going away Tuesday, so I'll not get much more done than what's been done up till now. So it's going to be a very short video today, but I'm just showing you my progress over the weekend, and that's another job out of the road. I still have this to polish, this side piece. I may have another go at some of this stuff just to get it the way pristine, the way I want it, but 90% there, so happy with that. Just a few wee bits like these four gears to get cleaned up and done, as you can see, and of them to get ready for the paint. I have a new set of forks ordered because one of them was bent, so I'm going to hope that this set that's coming is better. I also got the little fork ribs that go at the top of that, and these are in pretty damn good condition, so I was lucky to get them. You know, they're very little rust or anything on them, so I was happy to get them. That's them up in there, and somewhere I know I'll get them. I do have a spare one of these for the bottom of them, because I had to wreck them to get them off. This is one of my friend's bike. We replaced them on his, but it wasn't in terrible condition. I managed to get it off alright on that. I may not need that. I'm hoping I'm not going to need it, because I'm hoping these forks that are coming are good, and if they're good, I'm not going to rebuild them. I'm just going to leave them as is, so that I don't have to spend nearly 100 quid on two stainless pieces for the bottom. But that's it for this week, guys. Hopefully next week I'll buy the paint, the blue paint, and we'll try and get the tank and a few things painted up. So today, because of the bent fork that I had, a new set arrived which I had bought, but they appear to be very soft in comparison to the ones that I had. Resistance wise, they appear to be very soft. Now, saying that, I haven't had well, I never tested these when they were on a trio, so it's hard to know. Might put this tree onto them to check, but yeah, these just appear to be quite soft, and I'm wondering where they're rebuilt, because you can see that the oil place there has been replaced with a Allen key. Not both, only one. So I'm wondering, has somebody rebuilt these before maybe? So I'm going to tackle into this now. I'm going to unbolt the pinch bolts and try and get these out to see what condition they're in. Yeah, so I got them out, and they're not very rusty. They're quite good, actually. But there is a slight oil residue. I mean, it's very minimal, and there's no rust down in there. I don't know if they've ever been rebuilt. If they were, it was a long time ago, and these chrome pieces don't show any signs of ever having been off these, which would tell me probably they weren't rebuilt. There is a slight oil residue, but it's not full of oil, so I think I'm just going to leave them the way they are for now, and if they give trouble later on, then I'll obviously rebuild them. But I think for now, because of the little amount that I'll be using the bike, I'm going to leave them as is, because they're not too bad. If I could get a light, I'd show you down into them. Might be able to show you here. I don't know how much of that you can see, but there's no oil sitting down in there. It's pretty dry. You know, there's a little amount, as you would expect to see, of rust, and a tiny amount of like oil residue, but not it's not anything like the original ones that I have. Here you can see how wet they are, so they're nothing like that. So I'll try and just do with them the way that they are, and should I have to rebuild them later on, I will do that. Obviously, that's the only reason I'm not rebuilding them, is because of these two pieces, and it's hard to get clean ones of them, and these appear to be quite clean. And number two, to get stainless steel ones, it's nearly 100 quid, so it's just something I'm not willing to do right now. So yeah, I have a few spare bits left over which I don't need. These are pretty nice. Power wee dent there. Spare set of ears. Tiny crack, usually where you get the cracks in them, on both of them, but not bad. And I have this spare tree. Looks like it'll clean up quite nice, polish up quite nice. Not much pitting there. I'm sure somebody would use these if they didn't want to do a pristine job. They could use these. Wouldn't be much of a problem to them. The forks, although there's a tiny bit of oil residue, I'm not too worried. So I'm going to go ahead and just use them as they are, and when they do give trouble, then I'll rebuild them, obviously. I have took the good chrome and put it on, erect the other one to get it off, because it was too rusty. The other one was okay. That's the original. This one was nicer, just, so I'm going to put that on. But I'll just, before I put it on, I'll give you a look at the seals, just so you can see the condition. Now, I've cleaned around this a tiny bit, just to try and locate the clip, but I mean, you can see there's no real wetness. And I'm going to give it a few plunges here so you can see. You know, I'm putting my weight on that a few times, and you can see that is that's dry. So hopefully they're all right, and I don't need to touch them. And when they do go, then I'll buy 2 new ones of them, obviously. But I just don't have the money to be doing that right now. Yeah, so I'll just polish up the bottom ends, and they should be grand. That's that. And I now have, for anybody that's looking for a set that doesn't want them to be chrome and could paint them, I have 2 sets of fork ribs here, and these are not easy to find now. They're expensive. But the first set isn't too bad. It has a little bit of rust on it, but it's not too bad at all, like you can see. The second set's rough, but look, they're there if anyone needs them. I won't be needing them, because I have got a nice clean set up here, as you can see in there, and that's the ones I'll be using. So I have them bits. I don't think people realise how difficult these bits are becoming to find. There's some pieces for these bikes they're non-existent, like the bottom chain guard piece. That can be quite difficult to find. Kickstart shafts can be difficult to find, and when you do find them, they're quite expensive. You're talking over 100 and something quid for one of them, and I know that because I put 2 or 3 into an engine there. Them forks are there, but one of them's bent. I may, if sometime, maybe I'll get a new stanchion, and maybe the best idea is to rebuild that set and put this set on the bike for now, although they're a lot nicer. No, maybe not. They're not actually that much nicer. Yeah, if I could get another stanchion, I'd probably rebuild that set, and I'll put this set on the bike for now, but that's probably what I'll do. It's always good to have a few spare bits like that laying around. And today I got some new head nuts, so I'm going to take all these off one by one and retorque them for my engine. And I have these two things left to polish properly. Just didn't ever finish polishing them. I don't have the right papers to do it right now. I'll just have to see what I can get tomorrow for it. That's it. So it's been a day or two now, and the reason behind it is I've run into a little bit of an issue with my engine. Yeah, I broke a bolt. What makes it worse is that I tried to drill it out and get an easy out in there, and what happened to the easy out? It snapped. So now I've got a bit of easy out stuck in that, and it can't be drilled out. I've tried everything to grab it with vice grips, pliers, cannot grab it. I've tried to weld a nut onto it, I couldn't get a nut welded onto it. There's the remnants there. I am at a loss for what to do here, and I'm just going to have to persevere till I get it out. Otherwise it's a new casing. Okay, so welcome back to Demo 690. We're here at Paddy's farm. Stuff's already hung up. Floor is soaking with water to make sure there's no dust going to rise. I did make one mistake. I forgot to get lacquer, and I thought that I was in trouble, but I did have a bit left at the house from the last job that I done, so I'm hoping that we have enough to cover this. It's just going to be by pure luck if we do, but we'll give it a shot. So the first coat to go on is going to be the epoxy high build primer, which is a primer that prevents rust from coming through your paintwork, but also it fills in pits and small minor imperfections, and you can sand it out straight then, and that sorts out your issues. So without further ado, let's get to work. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Always blow the dust off first of everything. Just blowing it off the forks as well. Keep it down on top of it. Now, where we go? Let's start with the tank, most important piece. Hopefully it works. The one thing you should always remember about spraying anything is you don't blast it all on in one big thick coat. You can always put it on real light, in light coats, and let it gas off for about 10 or 15 minutes before you put another coat on. And hopefully you won't get bubbles in it from it gassing off too quickly. So, just something you know. I'm a little on the worried side, I mightn't have enough primer here to do this. I'm trying my best here. I do want to get a little bit on everything. So I'm just trying to get a little bit on everything here so that I don't end up with no primer on parts of it. Give it a light coat first. Yeah, so I've nearly got a light coat on everything, and then I'm going to go back and do a heavier coat. That's the plan. Yep, let them gas off. Okay, so there's no point in my really videoing every single piece of this because it's just going to be too long. So I'll do a couple of hyperlapses and a couple of shots in between to show you what the progress is. So that's what we'll do. Just give me a second. I'll turn the video off here and start on my heavier coats then. Okay, so that's us after getting the primer coat on. I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough paint. I just had enough on the mower. I had to thin it down a little bit. But as you can see, because I thinned it down, it's coming up quite nice. There was a couple of little dings on the tank there which I never realised was in it. They're there now, there's nothing I can do. They're going to show up. It's just going to be what it's going to be at this stage. There's no point starting to sand down again now and try to fix that. As you can see, once that dries, we'll be able to give it a good sanding down, and hopefully most of the pitting will be gone. You can see on this mudguard, which was really bad with pitting, it's not actually showing up now. So all you do is you get your sandpaper and you smooth that out, and it should be alright. And that is it. There's a couple of fish eyes here. You will get that sometimes in plastic especially. But I'm not going to worry about it too much. I'm hoping when I sand that it'll sort it out anyway, and it won't show up in the final coat, but time will tell. So there you go, that's as far as we're on. Oh yeah, the smaller pieces. I have the smaller pieces done here. This epoxy stuff is really messy, so you gotta be careful. And I do have a little dribble on this one, so we'll have to wait till when that's dry. You'll have to sort of straighten that out. But we're not doing too bad. We're looking good. So just while we're here, I want to introduce another project. Now it's not my bike, it's Paddy's bike. But he did ask me to do this one up, and I did mention it on my channel before. This is a little Yamaha Townmate, and we're going to paint it the same colour as the cd175, and it's a 4-speed. So I'm starting to strip this down here while I'm waiting on that paint to dry down there, and we'll see how we get on. Yeah, so unfortunately I didn't get as much done tonight as I wanted to. I actually thought I was going to be finished painting them tonight, but I'm only at the primer stage because the primer that I bought, for some reason, is just taking ages to cure, and I need to be able to sand it, so I have to wait till it cures fully. And I have a gig to play tonight, so I have to go away. I can't hang around here. But look, that's what I've got done. There's the odd little dribble because in the middle of the process it was going on a bit rough, so I decided to add a bit more thinners. But then I didn't adjust the gun, so yeah, in places I have a little run, but I'll get that out with block sanding it. It's not too bad. It's only oil primer anyway, you know, so you can always sand it, run out of primer. Just if you get it in the other coats, you're in trouble. Now, I put a lot of time into prepping this tank, and the things that I tell you all the time is prep is absolutely everything when it comes to painting. And when you put a shiny surface onto something, you're going to see everything. So I'm going to show you exactly what we can see here. I don't know if you can actually see it. Let me try and stick on a light. Right, so if you look at the top of this, you'll see just about here, there's a little dent there that we didn't see. And when you put the paint on, you start to see all of these things. There's another bit over here. See it? So block sanding is extremely important. There's a couple of little dings. Where did I see them? Maybe they're disappeared because of this primer being good and thick. I was seeing them earlier. Yeah, they're just about here somewhere. But they're not as noticeable now. But earlier you could see them, no problems at all. There they are there, you can see them now. So I missed them. But look, I've done enough prep on this. I'm not going back to try and sort this all out. It's just going to be what it's going to be. And I'll be happy with it. It's just me that's going to be looking at it anyway, really. So I'm not going to give out. My headlight piece that I was worried about, remember I fixed it, was all cracked and broken, and this piece was broke out altogether. It doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad at all. So I think that's going to be usable. Fork ears turned out good. The little pieces that go just above the forks, I unfortunately got a bad run. That was the time that I put the thinners in, didn't adjust the gun. So yeah, I have that to sand out. So I have a bit of sanding and more prep to do when I get back the next day. Hopefully this will be fully hardened and ready to go for sanding. That's all we can do for now. So Rome wasn't built in a day. I really wish that I was further on today, but I'm not. And that's just the way things go. So okay, until the next time. Yeah, so I didn't get finished today, and unfortunately I have to go away with work next week, so it doesn't look like I'm going to get a lot more done with it this week. So I have to leave it as it is for this week, and hopefully next week I'll be posting a video of it with the blue paint and everything done, and hopefully the worries will be gone. But look, for now that's all we can do. So over and out from Demo690. Please hit that like button because it helps me get out to other people. And please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Thank you.